New York, the New York Mets play the Philadelphia Phillies. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Astoria Bank. At Astoria Bank, the difference is wanting to make a difference. Visit AstoriaBank.com. By Pepsi, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. And by Geico, the #1 insurer in the New York market. Memorial Day in New York City. It is a beautiful day and a great day to celebrate our military and those we've lost. Fleet Week in New York coinciding with Memorial Day, so lots of naval personnel and Marines are in the ballpark today. In fact, some were just newly sworn in as the Mets get set to play the Phillies. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling with you today as the Mets open a 3-game series against the Phillies, and very happy Memorial Day to everybody. The last time the Mets saw the Phillies, they were a downtrodden group. Mets have beaten them 5 of 6 already this year, but the Phils have won 8 of their last 12, mostly on the strength of their 2 veteran sluggers. Chase Utley and Ryan Howard all of a sudden have been coming around.
You know, Gary, you think about it, when we first saw them in April, 2 of the greatest Phillies that have ever played for that organization, we were saying to ourselves, is this the last go-around? Are they done? Well, Chase Utley has caught fire. Ryan Howard, since April 21st, has 10 home runs, and Chase Utley has 11 home runs here at Citi Field. So keeping the ball in the ballpark against those 2 Phillies will be the key for Ryan Sandberg's Phillies.
Today's Game Changer brought to you by T-Mobile, and the task for getting the Phillies out belongs to Bartolo Colon, and he is in his roughest stretch as a Met.
He really has. His last 2 starts, he's given up 15 runs, 18 hits. Ball has been up in the strike zone. The real positive for Bart is usually he doesn't follow it up with another one, and he's 4-1 against the Phillies in a Mets uniform.
His first start as a 42-year-old. He celebrated his birthday yesterday. It's the Mets and Phillies on Memorial Day at Citi Field. All the action coming your way on SNY. Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot at Mets.com. Voting is exclusively online and available on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. Vote at Mets.com now. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by USAA. For those who gave everything that we may breathe free, we honor you. Bartolo Colon making his way in on Memorial Day in New York. Special camo for the day. Mets and Phils. First pitch coming right up. To greet the Mets players, courtesy of Pepsi. Members of all four branches out there on the field, getting to meet some of their heroes while the players greet theirs. Bartolo Colon gets his 10th start of the year today, looking to get back on track. Got off to a terrific start this year, but has struggled lately. Here's your Phillies starting lineup for this afternoon. Utley and Howard both had the day off yesterday. They faced Gio Gonzalez and the Nationals down in D.C. Maikel Franco is the new addition to the Phillies lineup. Cody Ashley's down in the minors learning how to play the outfield. Franco, one of their best prospects, has gotten off to a nice start in his first extended big league stint.
Well, you see the record so far this year for Bartolo. Like Gary said, great start. Has struggled lately with those Jeep numbers, but really the key for him is to keep from the extra base hits. He's given up 27 of them so far this year, including 10 home runs. And here's the defense for the Mets this afternoon. Cadillo, Lagares, and Granderson. Danny Muno gets a start at third base. That's a first start as a Met. 20 games in Las Vegas at third base. Flores, Murphy, and Duda. And Anthony Recker. I think the two names that jump out at you are Lagares and Duda, who are back in the lineup this afternoon. You weren't sure of that.
And the other one is Recker, who's starting for the second straight day, somewhat unexpectedly. Mets faced a lefty yesterday in Liriano, and he started. And Plawecki has been I don't know what I want to say that he's been struggling, but he's been kind of up and down, and so Recker gets a second straight start. Mets are down to 2 catchers now.
And remember, Plawecki and Colon in the last start had a little mix-up here and there, and so maybe this is a kind of a defensive change for Colon.
Mets sent Johnny Manel back down to AAA when they called up Muno for the start today. Muno arrived late last night and right in the lineup. So Plawecki watches today. Ben Revere leads things off for the Phillies. Revere at 262 for the year. Has good numbers against Cologne. And Bartolo's first pitch of the day is taken high, and we're underway. Cologne faced the Phillies 2 weeks ago. Didn't pitch great, but got a 7-4 win. That's his last win. And a strike call to Revere, 1-1. Revere, Galvis, and Utley for the Phillies, who won 6 in a row. They've lost 4 of 6 since then, but they're certainly on a much better track right now than they were a couple of weeks ago when the Mets last faced them. And Revere fouls it back 1-2. Revere has been the subject of a lot of conversation lately about the fact that he might be on the trading block.
There's so many teams out there, Gary, that are looking for a leadoff hitter. What he did for the Phillies last year and a lot of this year. Ryan Sandberg's leadoff hitter. Revere, not a great defensive player, but a good offensive player.
1-2 from Cologne. Strike 3 called, and Revere is caught looking to start the afternoon.
Well, for a guy who doesn't strike out questioning that call, that ball was right on the corner, right on the knees. Good pitch by Cologne. Nice frame by Recker.
Larry Vanover, the home plate umpire, calling that pitch an inch or 2 off the plate a strike.
I could be wrong, Ben. Sorry.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Freddie Galvis, who got off to a very hot start this year. He was raging hot when the Mets last saw the Phils, but just 4 for his last 31. Still hitting over 300 for the year. And Cologne picks off the inside corner. Cologne had his streak stopped in his last start, 48 in the 3rd innings without allowing a walk, the longest such streak in Mets history. He walked 2 in that game. Galvis a little late, and it's 0-2. Chase Utley on deck.
Galvis steps out. Sorry, Gary. You mentioned Larry Vanover. He is an umpire that will give you some inches off the outside corner.
Galvis fouls one away. Well, the thing about Cologne is he throws the highest percentage of strikes in Major League Baseball this year. 72% coming into the day, just ahead of Phil Hughes and Max Scherzer. But if his strikes are in the middle of the plate, he gives up those extra base hits you mentioned. So far today, he's been on or off the corners. Those are those numbers we were just talking about, presented by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Enter promo code NYM for free entry. That is the National League board.
The difference, 3 of those 5 pitchers have swing and miss stuff. Forward to throw more strikes.
Off the plate to Galvis, 1-2. Baseball and national holidays always gone together. Used to be always a doubleheader on Memorial Day back in the day. Antiquity. 2-2 out of Galvis. And a couple of thousand military personnel on hand today. Many were newly inducted into the Navy. Strike 3 call. Wow. Vanover does have a wide strike zone today, and Cologne has a couple of strikeouts to start his afternoon.
Well, he's always been known as a pitcher's umpire. He'll give you a little off the corners. This ball will come back over the inside corner. I bet if we do it from the overhead, you won't see that the ball is a little off the plate in, but not much. You know, I know you guys spent some time yesterday's ball game talking about Jonathan East having some real success inside with Recker catching. Well, Recker is more aggressive than Plawecki, probably because of the experience.
John was beating himself up after the game by going away from that game plan, which eventually got him in trouble. Chase Utley takes a strike. Utley, as noted, has really picked it up lately. He was hitting under 100 during the Mets series in Philadelphia 2 weeks ago. He's up to 173 now. And he has hit 11 home runs in this ballpark. Only one visiting player has hit more, and that's Dan Uggla, who has 13.
Interestingly enough, though, even when he wasn't hitting at all, he still was hitting against the Mets.
And particularly here. Ryan Howard, also resurgent in recent weeks, waiting on deck. Well, Colon has struck out the first two. He's ahead on Utley 0-2. 6-1 off the corner, and it's 1-2.
When Colon's at his best, and that was early in the season, he controls movement as well as any pitcher in baseball.
Finds trouble, it usually finds him early. That was the case in that last start against the Cardinals. The roof didn't cave in until the fourth inning, but he gave up a run in the first on 3 really hard hit balls and was immediately behind the 8 ball. Wound up giving up 9 runs in 4 1/3 innings. 2-2, and that's up and away on a full count to Utley.
I guess I should explain what control movement means. I think at times he can make it break 6 inches, he can make it break 4 inches, and he can throw it straight as an arrow if he wants to.
Three-two coming, and Utley takes strike 3 call. Colon strikes out the side in the first inning, all on all 3rd strikes, and Larry Vanhover doesn't have a lot of friends from the first 3 Philly hitters. Colon off to a fast start. No score. And get things started for the Mets, who are 17-6 at home this year. And here's the lineup they'll send up this afternoon, brought to you by Geico. Juan Lagares and Lucas Duda both sat out with minor hurts yesterday, both back in there today. Danny Muno, just back up from Las Vegas, gets his first ever start in the field in the major leagues. And Panamanian Severino Gonzalez on the mound for the Phils.
Well, you see his record so far. The high ERA results in his first start when he gave up 7 earned runs, but had been pretty good his last 2 starts.
Granderson was 1 for 11 in Pittsburgh with 7 strikeouts, emblematic of a series for the Mets where they just had awful problems making contact. And with the shift on, he tries to bunt for a hit and fouls it off. Nice to see Curtis try that.
Well, it's interesting that Franco was playing pretty much in, and Curtis still tried to bunt that baseball. Now back in the shortstop position.
And Granderson drills one over Utley and into right field. And the Mets have a leadoff hit.
Well, there's a shift there, but it doesn't matter with this line drive. These are the mistakes that you probably didn't see this weekend with the Pittsburgh Pirates pitching staff. The 0-2 ball over the middle of the plate. And it's the Phillies Coors Light defense. Revere, Herrera, and Sizemore in the outfield. Franco, Galvis, Utley, and Howard on the right side. Utley and Howard, and Carlos Ruiz and Severino Gonzalez, the Panamanian battery.
First one in history, all Panamanian pitcher catcher. Well, here's Lagares, who sat out yesterday with lingering elbow and side problems. And he takes a mighty hack and fouls one back. Lagares at 270 for the year. Of the two injuries, the elbow is the more troubling, because the side is a bruise. He suffered it making a diving catch a few weeks ago, and it will eventually heal. But the elbow is a problem that has lingered really since last September. And Lagares trying to bunt with Franco playing back, and it's 0-2. I didn't know there were British men.
Slimy.
Now we know. Welcome.
It's cool.
Hope you had a nice trip across the pond. Lucas Duda waits on deck. Severino Gonzalez making his 4th major league start, and a good one his last time out in Colorado. 5 good innings, and he pops one on the inside corner. Strike 3 call. So just as the 3 Phillies did in the top of the inning, Lagares goes away muttering at Larry Vanover.
You know, Lagares was in center field for the first 3 strikeouts. He knows what the umpire is calling. This ball's not even close to the inside corner. It's probably 6-8 inches inside, and still called. It's right on the line of the batter's box. So if the umpire's going to be clueless at times, you got to be ready.
So 1 out and 1 on now. Lucas Duda, and they'll put the shift on against him. Lucas sat out yesterday with a slight tightness in his hamstring that he suffered day before yesterday. Right back in there today.
You know, the only issue I got, Gary, with Lagares and Duda, sometimes you start to swing around your aches and pains, and you can develop some bad habits.
Granderson at first and 1 out, and Duda is hit, and he'll go down to first base. So Duda is tagged yet again.
Well, he has become the target for all opposing teams. You know, there's no way that young kid's trying to hit him here, but every team has decided to throw at least one pitch in his first at bat in on Lucas to try to get him off the plate. And you know what? He's kind of an immovable object. He's not going anywhere.
6th time he's been hit this season, and it puts 2 men on for the Mets' hottest hitter right now, Daniel Murphy. Murph, over the last 4 games, 8 for 13. He's got his average up to 263. Highest it's been in a long time. Granderson at second, Duda at first. The Mets have had awful problems scoring in the first innings of games, and trying to get a fast start today. The Mets have scored 1 run in the first inning in their last 23 games. Think about that. Curveball line into left center. They'll get a first inning run today. Granderson will come around to score. Daniel Murphy with an RBI single. It's 1-0 New York.
Beautifully set up there, Gary. I didn't know you could do that. You have that kind of power. Very nice. Hanging slider from Gonzalez to Daniel Murphy, trying to get me over pitch, and Murphy wasn't going to let it happen. Hitters got to be hacking today. You got to see how that first inning has gone so far with the umpire. And just a hanging slider. Nice hitting.
For good or for ill, Ronnie. For good or for ill.
That's right.
A run is in. Here's Michael Kadire. Kadire at 247 for the year. Had just 1 hit in the Pittsburgh series. Last home game for the Mets Thursday, Kadire went 3 for 3 and a walk. It's been putting those good days together that has really eluded Kadire through the first quarter plus of the season. Hitting just 200 with runners in scoring position so far. Duda at second, Murphy at first, and 1 out. And Kadire pops one foul. And that'll go back in the crowd. Flores hitting 6th in the order. He's on deck. Well, Gonzalez, when he's had any success in his brief major league service, has had it against the right-hand hitters. The lefties have just tattooed it, and we've seen it already in this inning. Coming into the day, the lefties were 11 for 20 against him, and they're 2 for 2 today, Granderson and Murphy.
And with the hit by pitch, so in 25 at bats against left-handed hitters, they've reached base 15 times.
Over a 600 on base percentage now against left-hand hitters for Gonzalez. He's ahead on Kadire, 1-2. And Michael grounds one behind third, a foul ball.
Well, that's Gonzalez's best pitch right there, the changeup. He's got a little cutting action on his fastball, a little slurve, and then this good power change. Bottom just drops out.
Gonzalez is a guy who has basically come out of nowhere. He was signed out of Panama in 2011. First 2 years in the Venezuelan Summer League, he really did nothing. And Kadire chasing on the breaking ball out of the strike zone, and Gonzalez has his second strikeout.
Well, this is the best slider he's thrown this inning. You can see why he dominates, or at least pitches better against right-handers. Good breaking ball out of the strike zone, and Kadire was fishing. See that grip? He gets those 2 fingers right on that seam, and that was a good one.
Call that more of a curve than a slider?
More of a slurve, yeah.
So 2 out and 2 on with a run home, and here's Flores, who went 4 for 10 in the series in Pittsburgh, and perhaps most remarkable of all, did not strike out. Left him with little company. There was a note today from Elias about that series in Pittsburgh that stunned me, but it really turned out to be historic in terms of the strikeout totals. If you were following the series, you know that all 3 Pirates starters, Garrett Cole, A.J. Burnett, and Francisco Liriano, struck out in double digits. It had never happened in Major League history that a team had 3 double-digit strikeout games from their starters and won all 3 games in the same series. It had never happened before.
That's remarkable.
Which is stunning. I mean, the Pirates had 3 straight games where their starters struck out 10 or more, but they had won all 3 games. That went back to 1969. Bob Veal, Bob Moose, Doc Ellis. But imagine that, modern baseball history, 115 years, no team had won 3 games in a series in a row with all 3 starters striking out 10. Danny Muno on deck. Gonzalez ahead on Flores, 0-2. Pulled foul. So it just gives you an idea how much the Mets struggled offensively in that series. They scored only 4 runs. One of them was unearned. One of them was on a Ruben Tejada home run. So there really was very little offense coming from their key offensive performance.
You could almost take it if your hitters are the guys that hit the ball out of the ballpark. But if you're a team that's not hitting the ball out of the ballpark, you can't take those strikeouts.
Right now the Mets are 11th in the National League in home runs with 34. Flores fouls back the slider.
Well, this young right-hander for the Phillies. The pitches aren't very good. 0-2 count right down the middle.
Gonzalez, 22 years old, almost 20 full years younger than his counterpart, Colon, who turned 42 yesterday. Gonzalez will be 23 in September. And he strikes out Flores with a high fastball, so each pitcher strikes out 3 in the opening inning, but the Mets able to fashion a run driven in by Daniel Murphy. 1-0 New York. player has the most postseason home runs in Phillies history? Well, we could answer that, but we'd have to think about it first.
Or not.
Ryan Howard, who might be that guy, leads off in the second inning. Howard has been red hot of late. And Colon finds the inside corner for a strike. Last 10 games, Howard hitting .425 with 4 home runs. So he has raised his average to very respectable levels. And I would think that right now, Ruben Amaro, the Phillies GM, has got to be on the phone saying to teams, hey, look, I got a legitimate superstar to trade you.
I told you he still has a lot of pop. There's Ruben.
Fly ball, shallow left. And Kadire under it. The first fair ball against Colon, first out of the inning. Well, Ruben's got a lot of aging players that he'd love to trade. Certainly Howard is chief among them. Jonathan Papelbon, even Utley, I would think, if the right deal came along.
You know, usually this time of year is a difficult time to make trades. You see a lot of guys designated for assignment, but you don't see a lot of trades this time.
And of course, the guy around whom most of the rumors have circled, that's Cole Hamels, is his best pitcher, and the Mets will not see in this series. Here's Maikel Franco, the 23-year-old rookie, and he takes a strike. As Hamels has pitched very well for the Phillies this year. And for him, in terms of Hamels, it's not a matter of whether they can trade him, it's a matter of how much they can get for him.
Well, they've asked a lot, and rightfully so. He's one of the premier pitchers, a #1 in all of baseball. This Sandberg and Boa.
Of course, most of the rumors have surrounded the Red Sox over the last number of months, but right now the team that could probably best afford Hamels and could use a starting pitcher is the Dodgers, who seem to have an unlimited payroll. And for Hamels, that would be going home to Southern California. I'm sure he'd be thrilled by that.
And I know he has a big contract, but in today's game, it's an affordable contract for a pitcher of his quality.
Ready Sizemore on deck. Maikel Franco making his 11th start. He's taken over as the Phillies' third baseman, and he taps one right at Murphy. Fields the easy hop and throws him out, 2 away. So 5 up and 5 down for Colon to start his afternoon. Here's Grady Sizemore. He's been splitting time in right field with Jeff Francoeur, and while Francoeur has been very hot, Sizemore has not. Now, the Phillies' corner outfield situation is fascinating because they've got Ben Revere, who they're trying to trade. They've got Cody Ashley down in AAA trying to learn how to play the outfield, and they've also got in AAA Dominic Brown, who at one time they thought was a budding superstar, and now he's basically been kept in the minors to teach him a lesson. There's Jeff Francoeur, the former Met, back at Citi Field. To Sizemore.
Now, Dominic Brown had that great May a couple of years ago, and I think he had 13 home runs in the month of May.
Not sure if he's hit 13 since.
That's right.
Sizemore lays off, and Colon behind 3-0.
You know, a lot of times for any organization, when you identify young players as being, you know, the next core of your team, and they don't pan out to be that kind of player, it sets you back a couple of years.
Well, for the Phillies, that's not only true with Dominic Brown. Also, John Mayberry was part of that a few years ago, and now Mayberry a part-time player with the Mets. John.
There's Dylan G.
G is going to pitch at Binghamton on Wednesday, and then will make a start in the San Diego series. Another guy the Mets hope to have in San Diego, and if not, the following series in Arizona, is Travis d'Arnaud, who's going to start doing some catching tomorrow in extended spring training, and then play some rehab games. That's good news.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That was Travis's right hand, right? That was injured.
Right hand, yeah. It's a pinky on his right hand.
It's interesting. I don't know if you remember the name Mike Fitzgerald. He was a catcher for the Mets, and always a great throw of the baseball. Got hit in the hand and it hurt his pinky. Never could throw the same. The ball didn't come out. Hopefully, that's not the case for Travis.
Mike Fitzgerald, part of the trade that brought the Mets Gary Carter. Seventh pitch of the at bat coming to Sizemore. And he walked him. So Colon, who went 7 starts without a walk before passing a pair in his last start, issues his first walk of this game. Odubel Herrera coming up with 2 out. We check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Well, Gary, we had the chances as the media to talk to Dylan G yesterday, and you could tell he was a little less than enthused by the plan when it comes to what they're going to do with him. He said he feels like he's ready to go and is just wasting bullets by pitching in Double-A, pardon me. And the most interesting comment from G was he said this is the weirdest darn year of baseball I've ever had in my life, which you can kind of understand.
Well, you know, he's a victim of circumstance. The Mets have a wealth of incredibly talented young pitching, and it has kind of shoved him into a subsidiary role. The irony, of course, is that when he did get a chance to pitch earlier this year, after Zach Wheeler got hurt and he beat out Rafael Montero, he pitched very well.
Yeah.
But then a groin injury set him back, and Noah Syndergaard came up, and all of a sudden he finds himself down in the pecking order again. And frankly, Dylan is fortunate in a way.
I agree.
That all these younger pitchers are on such innings limits for the year that it necessitates them going to a 6-man rotation, and that he's the 6th guy.
6-man rotation is going to be interesting because you have days off, you have rain days. I don't think it's going to be a permanent situation because there's injuries come into play, but it's going to be difficult to keep your control in between these starts. Throwing on the side, how many times do you throw on the side?
Jerry Collins even suggested some of the pitchers might throw batting practice to try and stay sharp.
That hasn't been done since the 50s, right?
Really. Of course, the real reason why they're sending G down for another rehab start is so Matt Harvey won't have 2 extra days of rest. They want to keep him at least on the 6th day, not the 7th day. And with an off day coming up on Thursday, if they had slotted Dylan right in, then Matt would have had 2 extra days. So we'll see how it all works out. It certainly is not locked in stone, but that's the game plan for the moment. Inside 3-1. The other collateral damage of having a 6-man rotation is it affects your bench.
Yeah.
Because the Mets would not feel comfortable keeping 1 less relief pitcher, which means if you have 6 starters and 7 relievers, you only have 4 men left on your bench, which the Mets had earlier this season, and you know it hamstrings you at times.
It'll be a great idea until people don't pitch well. Then it will be an awful idea.
Exactly. And frankly, none of them are happy about it right now. But if it works out, they'll be thrilled. That's drilled to right by Herrera. Granderson trying to measure it. Goes back to grab it a step from the wall. Herrera hit that ball hard. Granderson makes a nice play to end the inning. That gets Colon through the 2nd unscathed. 1-0 Mets. The first 15,000 fans will receive a Mets beach towel courtesy of Pepsi. For tickets, visit Mets.com/beach towel. Danny Muno, just back from Las Vegas, takes ball one. Muno making his second big league start. He was a DH in a game at Yankee Stadium, playing third base today. Muno, the third baseman of the day for the Mets. Terry Collins said it will be a day-to-day proposition, deciding whom to play there. 1-2 to Muno. The latest on the actual Mets third baseman, the captain, is that he is out in California. Why is he in California? Well, his back protocol, as Muno fouls one down the line, his back protocol has been drawn up by Dr. Robert Watkins out in California, back specialist, and he's been following that program. And David figured, well, if I'm following the program, why don't I go up close and personal? Yeah. So he's working with Dr. Watkins' physical therapy people as Muno strikes out. That's 4 in the first 4 outs for Severino Gonzalez. And the plan is to have David out there for a week and see how that goes. And as Sandy Alderson said when asked how long-term an injury this might be, this spinal stenosis, he said, I think we'll know in the next 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. Well, it's been so many stops and starts, hasn't it been, for David? And you know, it's a hard thing to see where, you know, is he going to be able to play through the pain and come back to his team, or continue to rest it?
There's Anthony Recker with 1 out. Recker making his second straight start.
It's a little weird that a guy would get on a plane, fly all those hours with a bad back, but I understand Dr. Watkins is one of the best in his field.
Well, David tried playing through back pain 4 years ago when he suffered a fractured back, and he played for about 6 weeks before he finally had to shut it down. It's a real tricky injury to try and have any idea about, because it could be just a small deal that they can throw some physical therapy at and treat medically. And
this is lower back, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
They really have not specified the area. And you know, when they finally announced over the weekend that it was spinal stenosis, you go digging through the records and you find cases where guys have to have surgery and guys have had their careers ended.
Old teammate of mine.
Right. And it may or may not be that serious, and certainly everybody hopes it's not, but there's just no way to know. Record goes down on strikes. That's 4 consecutive strikeouts for Gonzalez and 5 in the first inning and 2/3, and so the parade of Ks continues.
Just a fastball away, a little bit of a cutting action gets by a Recker. Remember the first round draft pick for the New York Giants football club, David Wilson, he had the same injury, ended his career. Lenny Dykstra is the person I was referring to, that at 35 years old he was done.
Lenny, if I recall correctly, had the surgery and then couldn't come back from it. There's Colon taking all the way, and it's a ball. Colon 1 for 17 at the plate. He made contact, and that always draws a cheer.
I mean, this is a guy that I could see this weekend. You face some top echelon pitching. You cannot strike out against this guy. He's not a strikeout pitcher.
Well, with the 5 strikeouts he has already today, he's tied his career high.
Exactly.
And he's done it in an inning and 2/3. 36 strikeouts in the last 3 games, 5 more today for Met hitters. And another. So Severino Gonzalez strikes out the side of the second. He's got 6 Ks through 2, but the Mets lead at 1-0.
This is not about who's not here. This is about who is here. And if they're here, they're good enough. So we got to start playing like it. We got to go play. You know, every team goes through it. Every team is going to go through it. This is our stage. You know, we're not dead. We're not dead in the water by any stretch of the imagination. We just got to get it going, and we plan on starting tomorrow. I've done this longer than most of you have been alive. Okay? They're human beings. Everybody goes through it. Everybody gets frustrated. Everybody presses at some time. What you try to do is pick the right time to say, knock it off. You know, you're big league players. You're the best of the best. Let's just go play like it.
That was Terry Collins talking to reporters after yesterday's game, after he had spoken to his team and delivered a similar sentiment.
Well, I love that Carlos Ruiz up at the plate. I love that he pointed out he's been doing this longer than most people have been alive. I love that, his experience. But the most important thing I think he said was the beginning. A lot of times teams start to look around and looking for a savior to come in and save us from this. We're struggling. We need someone to help us. No one's coming.
Right.
You've got to do it. You know, the thing about playing a professional sport is that you're paid to deliver. And it doesn't matter if you're not the number one guy, if you're the number 1A guy. You've got to deliver. It's simple as that.
1-2 coming from Cologne, and Ruiz fouls one.
And Gary, all good teams concentrate on who's on the field, not who's off the field. And in fact, if I were Terry, I would say when people ask me about the injured players, I don't know. Ask the organization and the rehab people and the physical therapists. Ask them when they're coming back.
Line center field, Lagares over and picks it off for the first out.
You know, the reason I say that is because you do a disservice to the people that are on the field when you talk about people that are not playing. It makes people on the field a little jumpier, edgier. They don't play loosey-goosey like they're supposed to play. I learned something from Jim Leyland. It was great. Sitting in his office, one of his premier pitchers was coming back from injury. The trainer came in and said, Jim, would you like to see so-and-so play long toss? He goes, no, I have no interest in him playing long toss. Tell me when he's throwing 95 from 60 feet 6 inches, then I'm ready to hear from him.
And that's a great lesson. You can only win with who you have and not worry about who you don't. And it's a pattern that the Mets have kind of gotten stuck in the last several seasons. Severino Gonzalez hits a slow ground ball, and Murphy makes the play for the second out. The Mets have had so many injuries piled on top of each other over the last half decade that you kind of get used to that. Well, when's this guy coming back? When's that guy coming back? But the other message that Terry has given repeatedly over the last couple of weeks is, you know, you can't look at Eric Campbell or Kevin Plawecki or any of these other guys who are filling in for the people who are hurt. You have to look at your stars. You have to look at your established big leaguers, the guys like Kadire and Granderson. Those guys have got to find a way to play to their best level, which they're not doing. And that's why the Mets are stuck right now, not because the replacements for Wright and Darno aren't producing. Here's Ben Revere. Took a call, third strike, his first time up.
The best way to stay in the present mind when you're an athlete, playing baseball especially, the slogan should be, we are the best today. You know, don't worry about what happened yesterday. Don't worry what happens tomorrow. We're the best team today. And that really helps, I think, get you out of that snag of, boy, I'm 0 for 20. I've had 2 bad starts. I've had this or that. We, the whole group, are a better team today. If you think that way, you're in good shape.
And more true in baseball than in any other sport, because it is every day, and you always have a chance to redeem yourself for what happened yesterday. And if you have a bad day today, tomorrow is looming.
Randall Grichuk. Remember that name forever.
Pigeons on the field. 3 of them.
You got a bunt, don't you?
A Covey. Slapped to short. Diving stop Flores. Fast man running. Flores cannot get it. Revere beats him out. And that's the first base hit against Bartolo Colon.
Well, a bullet, good backhand. By the time he gets up, straightens up, and fires that ball to first base. Revere's just too fast. Easily safe. Foot on the bag, can still see the baseball.
It's one of those downsides of being a big shortstop, right? That you just don't bounce up as fast as a little guy.
Well, a friend of mine, Cal Ripken, remember how he played short? If he made that play, he'd throw from his knees. He never would get up because he was too big.
So Revere is aboard. He's got 9 stolen bases, so Colon will have to keep an eye on him with Freddie Galvis at the plate. Revere's 7th in the National League in steals.
I shouldn't have said Cal Ripken, a friend of mine. Everyone knows who Cal Ripken is. I was a little self-aggrandized.
Well,
the great Cal Ripken.
And you guys work together.
But the great Cal Ripken would throw from his knees.
He's a colleague of yours, in addition to being a great shortstop.
It's hard to feel like a colleague of Cal Ripken, I'm telling you.
You mean it's different than working with Keith?
Yeah, it's different. Keith and I have known each other forever, but Cal's the Iron Man. He's got a nickname.
Colon takes something off and misses for ball 1. Galvis took a call, 3rd strike, his first time up. Chase Utley would be next. That's ripped into right field. Galvis has a base hit. Long run for Granderson to get to it. Revere on his way to 3rd. He's going to be held up there. Pete McCann, the 3rd base coach, not going to take the chance even with 2 out because you got Utley coming up next. So Galvis has his 3rd double of the year.
I don't think there's been any other player that we've been more impressed with in this early part of the season than Freddie Galvis. From the left or right side. This ball a little off the end of the bat, but still dumps it into right field. And the Phillies now have 2nd and 3rd against Colon. Fun to watch Revere run. I'm sure he eluded a lot of tacklers in his high school days.
So 2 in scoring position for Utley, who took a call, 3rd strike his first time up. So Colon got through the first time through the batting order without allowing a hit. Now he's given up an infield hit and a double to the first 2 hitters the second time around. And so he's got himself a situation. And Utley flies one shallow left right near that short fence, and it's beyond the reach of Kadam.
Well, Michael didn't have a chance to catch this, and you can see the fan's glove just glancing off the leather, but he wasn't going to catch it anyway.
The only way he might have had a chance is with a slide. But had to pull up short there. That short wall, and we've seen it more in right field than in left, but that's such a hazard for the fielder.
You have to start that slide early. Time it almost like the base you're sliding into is the wall.
I mean, if you hit that thing full speed, you're going to flip right over.
Remember Angel Pagan in Dodger Stadium.
Angeles, yeah. That cost him 3/4 of a season. Revere at 3rd, Galvis at 2nd with 2 down. Air traffic. Neither Colon nor Utley gave into the play.
You got to be careful here if you're Colon, and the reason I say that, veteran against veteran. How did Utley go down last time up? 3 fastballs inside. He will look in at some point in this at bat.
Well, he certainly knows how to tuck that inside pitch into the corner here. Pulls one through the hole, a base hit. Revere is in to score. Galvis right behind him. Chase Utley delivers a 2-run single, and the Phillies go in front 2-1. 3 straight 2-out hits against Colon. Produce a pair of runs.
Well, it's supposed to be away, but it catches the middle of the plate, and that's really what has been Bartolo's problem the last 3 to 4 games, is that too many fastballs in the middle of the plate, especially up. I mean, this ball's belt high, maybe even a little above belt high, and Utley's as good as any left-hander in baseball getting on top of that pitch.
So 3 straight hits after 2 out and nobody on. Terry Collins is coming out. Bob Guerin, the bench coach, was on the phone, I assume, with the replay coordinator, and I don't know what this is all about.
Well, I don't know what they could replay, and they shut down the jam. Called it off.
That was odd.
hadn't touched the bag, you would just appeal the play.
It's appeal play. That's not a challenge. Unless they deny the appeal, then you can challenge. Here's Ryan Howard, who flied to left his first time up. Utley at first and 2 down. Change up from Cologne, 0-1.
Let's see if the runners look like Revere's safe, but Galvis, long stride when he tried to get to third base. Did he get there? Looks like he got there to me.
But again, if you thought he missed the base, you don't challenge, you appeal. And then if they deny the appeal, you can go to the challenge. Big shift on against Howard. And he hits one off the end of the bat right through the empty space. And he's got a base hit. Utley racing for third. And he'll make it with a slide. So Ryan Howard confounds the shift. And that has the Philly bench in stitches. 4th hit of the inning for the Phillies.
Well, a guy this big cannot hit a ball any softer than Ryan did right here. About a 17 hopper through the infield against the shift. Gets himself a single, and Utley at third base.
He was not trying to do that.
No.
But it works out for him. The part of the play that I was looking forward to at the end was that Bartolo Colon had gone to cover third. If Muno had been able to run out there and get it, they might have had a play with Bartolo trying to make the tag at third. Here's Franco, who grounded out his first time up, 1st and 3rd and 2 out. And slider off the plate, ball 1.
Well, Franco so far, from the people I've talked to, he likes the ball out over the plate. He's got tremendous power to right center field. Very aggressive hitter, though. Likes to jump out of the strike zone a lot.
Record sets up inside. He gets it out over the plate. Franco hits it out to left, and Kadire is there to play it. And that retires the side. But the Phillies cash a pair on Utley's 2-out hit. Phillies 2, Mets 1 in the 3rd. Player has the most postseason home runs in Phillies history.
Wow.
How about that? That would not have been my guess.
You know, the today's player is always going to be the answer to these trivia questions because there's so much more postseason baseball.
Of course. Here's Granderson, who had a base hit and scored the Mets run, leading off the first against Severino Gonzalez, who now has the lead. Granderson, Lagares, and Duda, second time through the batting order against Gonzalez, who picks off the outside corner. And quickly ahead 0-2.
This young guy's got some moxie, doesn't he, Gonzalez? Just gets it and throws it.
Certainly working quickly. He made 5 starts in AAA this year. He pitched to a 4.34 ERA, not particularly impressive. Pitching from Lehigh Valley. And he strikes out Granderson. That's his 7th strikeout, and he's now struck out 6 Mets in a row. Deja vu. During today's game, you can get interactive with SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, featuring pitch-by-pitch coverage, player cards, and in-depth stats. Check out SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Now it's Lagares, who took a call, 3rd strike his first time up. Well, the strikeout rate has gone from bad to alarming. Look at that, 41% of at-bats over this last stretch. A fair ball. Alert. Galvis throws out Lagares on the broken back grounder for the 2nd out. So 2 out and nobody on. Now Lucas Duda, who was drilled by a pitch his first time up.
Best way to get back at a pitcher who hit you, bullet up the box. Or for Lucas, probably hitting it over the wall.
In the air, deep right field. Back goes Sizemore, looking up, and it's out of here. Just like that?
Yeah.
Number 6 for Lucas Duda to tie the game at 2.
Well, appropriate on this day that the ball lands in the hands of that gentleman. And you know what? After a while, Lucas is going to get sick of getting hit, and that's the best answer to any pitcher. A bullet to right center field. Just a fastball away, right down the middle, and covered by Lucas. And you'll see a lot of home runs go there.
That home run by the Mets means $2,000 for an NYC community partner, courtesy of Citi. Nice grab. Murphy drove in the first Met run with a base hit in the first. That home run, the first allowed in the major leagues by Severino Gonzalez in his 4th major league start. Murphy now 9 for his last 14. Looks like Gonzalez has a natural cut on that fastball.
He does, like Mejia. His is late, though. You can see Murphy, even Murphy that hot, couldn't pick that spin up on the baseball.
Rolls 1 out for Utley. And that retires the side, but the Mets get even on Lucas Duda's 6th home run of the season. Duda goes deep, tied 2-2 after 3. Game. Sizemore drew a walk his first time up. Yes, a walk from Cologne, his 4th this season in 10 starts.
Giving Sizemore the bunt with the shift here by the Mets.
And he drills one to right. Granderson, though, in front of it. One hard out. Odubel Herrera coming up, and we check in with Steve Gelbs, who has a very special guest. Steve?
Very special guest indeed, Gary. Secretary of the Navy, Ray Mabus. Ray, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Secretary, I should say. When it comes to Memorial Day, Mr. Secretary, obviously it's a somber day, but how gratifying is the acknowledgement you get here from Major League Baseball?
Oh, it's so important, because when sailors and Marines, I call sailors and Marines our away team. We don't get any home games. And when they're doing their job, they're a long way from home. And to have this opportunity to see them here, to say thank you, to take a selfie with a sailor, and to remember why Memorial Day, why we honor Memorial Day, and the sailors and Marines and the other service members that left to go defend this country and never came home.
And how important is this relationship you do have with Major League Baseball, MLB committing $30 million around to the Welcome Home Veterans Organization?
Oh, it's so good. And, you know, every park, every team honors our veterans, honors our servicemen. And to put that sort of money into a program that is this good, and as people come home, help them reconnect to their communities and their families.
Mr. Secretary, you've been talking a lot about being away from home. How important, when these servicemen and women are overseas, is sports and the ability nowadays to be able to watch it with technology while being so far away?
It's the one thing that everybody can connect to. You know, you'll be 12 time zones away, but you can get up at 3 in the morning and watch a Mets game. And it gives you something to talk about with people back home. It gives you that connection that just isn't there a lot of times.
You say watch a Mets game. Now, if it was you, though, you'd be watching a Red Sox game. Big Red Sox fan, so no disrespect. But when I say the year 1986, what memories come to mind?
Oh, man, Bill Buckner. It was just still painful to watch. Mookie Wilson, Bill Buckner. But, you know, I'm from Mississippi. We had a Mets farm team in Jackson. And so for the National League, I was pretty much a Mets fan.
Well, Mr. Secretary, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your service. And, of course, all the servicemen and women as well. We so much appreciate that.
Appreciate it so much. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Gary?
A warrior and a diplomat, too.
Very good.
Nice. Odubel Herrera up with one out. And he hits one in the air to right. Easy for Granderson this time. And that's the second out.
You know, most of the ball players today certainly don't even think about it. But, you know, baseball and war service are combined for a long time. I'm thinking about Bob Feller the day after Pearl Harbor signing up to enlist in the military. Teddy Williams did most of his fighting in the Korean War as a pilot.
Just 5 years of his career between World War II and Korea. But even in the 60s, players used to go away for military service in the middle of the season. They'd go to summer camp if they were in the reserves, and they'd miss time.
Didn't that happen to Nolan Ryan when he was at the Mets?
Almost. I mean, there were hundreds of players who had military obligations, part-time military obligations during the Vietnam War. Ruiz lines out to short, down a 1-2-3 inning for Bartolo Colon. Off we go to the bottom of the 4th. Mets and Phils tied at 2. Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. And the parachute team here before the game today. We had the flyover after the anthem. Game 2 of this series tomorrow night. Jacob deGrom, on the heels of his spectacular performance against the Cardinals last Thursday, goes up against Jerome Williams. Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock tomorrow right here on SNY.
See, when I see someone parachuting in Flushing, I think of Michael Sergio.
Well, you gave him the high five. Kadire hits one deep to left center, back toward the wall. That ball is out of here. Michael Kadire with a prodigious home run. His 4th of the year, the Mets' 2nd home run of the day. And they go back in front 3-2.
Well, this young man, Gonzalez, might not have given up any home runs for the last 2, but they have been bombs. Dudas, and this one by Kadire. I don't know, since Mark Reynolds, I've seen a ball left center get up in that second deck. That's huge.
Very, very impressive. Now Wilmer Flores.
When you're young and someone hits a home run, that neck snaps straight away, and he knew right away. As you get older, you don't want to give the hitter the satisfaction that he hit a home run off you. So as you get older, you know you delivered it, you don't even look. You look at the umpire for the ball.
It had been a while for Michael Kadire. His last home run came May the 1st against Max Scherzer. And now 24 days later, he has his next 73 at-bats in between. Long drive foul off the bat of Flores. Flores pops it up. Galvi's out to call. And that's the first out of the inning. Now it's Danny Muno.
Well, in his first at bat, Muno, who's 28 for 100 in Las Vegas, got a fastball running away for a ball, a changeup for a strike. Back with a fastball up in the zone. He doesn't usually chase balls out of the strike zone. I think it's a kind of a hanging curveball that he swings through. Known for his excellent eye.
.354 on base percentage at Vegas this year. 26 years old out of Fresno State. 8th round pick by the Mets in 2011. And the breaking ball inside. 1-1. We were talking about this the other day, that Danny Muno's dad played for Notre Dame. He was a punter on their national championship team with Joe Montana in the 70s.
So he's a punter on that team that won the Cotton Bowl game, where last second touchdown pass from Montana. Wow.
If memory serves, I think Danny's father then transferred from Notre Dame.
Okay.
But he had, as they say, he has a ring.
Yeah. Okay.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Anthony Recker has struck out his first time up. Recker starting back-to-back games. I'm told nothing wrong with Kevin Plawecki. Just Recker and Cologne working together today. There's Kevin.
Yeah, I'll have to ask tomorrow, but I bet you it was just to change it up, get Cologne out of the rut maybe that he's been in.
One and 2 to Anthony. And he's the latest to turn around and question Larry Vanover about a call. So a lot of that in the first inning today. And Recker goes down on strikes, loses the bat in the process. Strikeout number 8 for Severino Gonzalez. Between all the swings and misses, Mets with a couple of home runs. Kadire the latest. 3-2 New York. Just go to sny.tv/Kidcaster. Submit an essay on the topic provided, and you'll be entered in the SNY Kidcaster contest presented by New York's 529 College Savings Program. Battle of the Bulge. Remembrance. World War II. Third Army. Led by General Patton. Well, Bartolo Colon has the lead for the second time in this game. Facing his opposite number, Severino Gonzalez, looking for his first big league hit. Grounded out his first time up today. 0 for 5 to start his big league career. And that one sails to the backstop. That's a rarely seen occurrence for Colon. Then Revere on deck, and then Freddie Galvis for the Phillies in the 5th. Chopped at the plate, came up and hit him in the batter's box before Recker retrieved it. So it's a foul ball. Recker tried his best to sell that.
He did. We saw that earlier this year in Chicago with Miguel Montero with Wilmer Flores at the plate. It negated the double play.
Well, when he kind of tagged him inadvertently while going after a bunt. Colon struck out the side in the first inning. He has not struck out a batter since. And now a full count to the opposing pitcher. That tells you that Bart is something less than his best right now. Normally he does not waste pitches on the opposing pitcher. And he walked him. How about that? A leadoff walk to the pitcher from Bartolo Colon. Pigs fly.
I mean, it's very rare that we've seen him even have 3-ball counts early in the season, but those have been much more in abundance the last 3 games.
So the Phillies have a leadoff base runner for the first time today. Ben Revere, the batter. Revere had an infield hit and scored a run in the 3rd. Flores made a diving stop but couldn't pop up quickly enough to throw out Revere. Muno playing in on the grass at 3rd. Did you have a comment to make?
It's only bad.
Well, if we weren't fully woken up before, now we're ready to, put on the bridle and get in the game.
When's the Belmont? A couple weeks?
A week from Saturday, right?
Okay. American Pharaoh, you there? You believing in this?
To me, I remember in the 70s when there hadn't been a Triple Crown in 25 years before Secretariat. And then there were 3 in a 6-year span. Seattle slew and affirmed. 78, the last one.
Secretariat won by 31 lengths, I believe.
And affirmed by about a nose over Alydar. Strike 3 called, and Revere is caught looking for the second time. That's the 4th strikeout for Cologne.
It's that fastball again that starts inside and backs up over the middle of the plate. This catches tons of plate for a guy who doesn't strike out very much in Revere.
But, there hasn't been a Triple Crown completed in so long, and there have been so many failed attempts from Smarty Jones and all of them, that it's become more like a Mets no-hitter. I just don't think it's ever going to happen again. Until they can prove it.
Well, it's interesting, the game that you and Keith did last week, day game, where Lucas hit 2 home runs. Someone texted me that he had hit 3 home runs. They must have pushed the wrong button. And I sent you a text because I was saying that you got the no-hitter, now you're knocking down fences as you go. But there was no fence to be knocked down. He only had 2.
Well, Bartolo Colon turned 42 yesterday, so we figured we'd gather up some former Mets who are the same age or younger than Bartolo Colon, and some of them have been out of the game forever. C.J. Nitkowski and Roger Cedeno and Chris Benson. I mean, this is like, we're talking about another decade since these guys have played. That's a perfect bunt by Galvis. No chance for Muno. And Galvis has a perfectly executed bunt single.
Well, if you're going to give it to him, he's going to take it. Turns around very early. Stepped on the plate, by the way. I don't know if the Mets want to challenge that. He's right on top of that plate.
Can you challenge that?
I don't know.
If his foot's on the plate as he makes contact, he's out. I'm not sure if anybody recognized that. Let's see.
Let's see. I caught the left foot. Let's see if it was on top of the plate. Boy, it's maybe just inside.
Now, I don't know if that's reviewable. In fact, the Mets are talking about it in the corner of the dugout right now, and you see Bob Guerin telling Recker to go out and talk to buy them some time to look at the replays. But I think they need to look at the replay rules first to see whether this is a challengeable call.
I don't know if it's challengeable or not. It's not going to be overturned, I think, because it's hard to make that call. I think his foot is on the plate.
I think it is too. Yeah. Certainly from that overhead view. And this is going to be the consultation. Terry's going to ask the home plate umpire, Larry Vanover, whether that is a reviewable call.
And Larry's shaking his head no. That's not a good sign.
They're allowed to check with the folks in New York and ask them whether it's a reviewable call. But it's one that I have not seen on the list, pro or con, whether it is reviewable.
Well, it should be on the list. I mean, that's an easy one to review, wouldn't it?
Well, Vanover has clearly told him that it is not reviewable. So there you go. Mets have a replay coordinator, Jim Kelly, who watches every little bit of what goes on. And if he has a question, he gets right on the phone with the dugout. So 2 men aboard and 1 out. Chase Utley, who drove in the 2 Philly runs with a base hit his last time up, and he hits this one in the air to left. Coming on hard is Kadire, but he'll have to play it on the hop. Gonzalez will have to stop at third. The throw off line, but cut off very nicely by Muno. Otherwise, that ball could have been rattling around at the backstop. Terrible throw by Kadire, and Muno really bailed him out.
Boy, good call there, Gary. This one just off the end of the bat, so it drops in front of Kadire. He's got to know the pitcher's running. He's going to be held up. And he lets this throw go, and Muno, like you said, just an outstanding. That almost would have went in the dugout. Well, he's definitely on it there. That entire left spike is on that plate. I don't see any dirt. Well, gonna have to rip it up and rewrite it.
Yeah, or something.
Maybe next year.
So now the base is loaded for Ryan Howard, who had an opposite field single when he dribbled one along the grass into an unoccupied space his last time up. That's a call strike. By the way, Gonzalez, the pitcher who's on third base, looks like he's pretty athletic, and that he might have some speed to be able to score on a fly ball.
He would have scored if he just read it wrong off the bat.
Howard gets under one to center. Back goes Algaris, gets turned around, finds it, and makes the catch. Gonzalez will tag and come in with a tying run. 400-foot fly ball by Howard ties the game at 3. 24th run batted end of the season for Ryan Howard.
Well, how do you say a guy just missed it when he hit it 400 feet? But Howard, when he gets it on the fat part of the bat, that ball would have been gone. Good play by Lagares, who was turned around a couple times. We've seen that happen the last couple of weeks, and there the pitcher Gonzalez tagging, and the back runners also tagging because that ball was hit so deep, and they know and respect Lagares is going to catch it at some point.
I was surprised Utley didn't tag it first as well. It's a play he often makes. You know, talking about Lagares getting turned around, I don't know if it was the case here, but the wind is blowing in a direction I don't think it's blown this year. It's coming out of the southwest as Franco pops one up in foul territory, and Duda tracks it to the railing, reaches, and did he get it? He did. He held on. Nice play, Lucas Duda. Looked like it was coming out, and he's able to cradle it and hang on. That's a hard ball to catch. Look where that hit. Gonna have strong hands. Tie game. Bartolo Colon leads off the home fifth, takes a mighty hack. Colon was caught looking his first time up. Well, Mets have handed Colon the lead twice in this game, and twice he's given it back. But he pokes one into left field for a base hit. Second hit of the year for Bartolo Colon.
for one of the best sliders the young Gonzalez has thrown all day. On the black, on the knees, doesn't matter. Bartolo Colon with a little passing wave of the ash bat gets himself a hit. Look at that form.
So he's taken care of the getting on base part. We'll see if he can handle the being on base part better than he did his last start. Remember, he got on an error by Molina and got as far as third, but then failed to tag up when a diving catch was made in center field. Phillies trying to figure out how do they want to configure their defense here. They're going to send Franco over to the right side against Granderson.
These infielders in baseball are going to have to wear a wristband to let them know where to go for every hitter.
Like Tom Matty back.
Yeah, there you go for the Colts.
Granderson 1 for 2. Singleton scored in the first. And he takes inside. For those too young to remember, Tom Matty was a running back pressed into service as a quarterback for the Colts back in the 60s, and he wore the plays on a wristband before anybody else had thought of that. Now everybody does it.
Granderson cracks one into right for a base hit.
Colon got a late start, but he'll hustle into second. And the Mets have 2 men on.
Well, after a tough weekend for Curtis, 2 ringing base hits in this ball game so far. Fastball down the middle. Line shot to right field.
So the first 2 men on here in the 5th. In a tie game, Juan Lagares has struck out and grounded out 0 for 2.
Well, this is the one case where you almost cannot bunt because Colon's running at second base. You can't do it.
Force play. And stirring around in the Phillies bullpen, Gonzalez went 5 innings and 65 pitches his last start. Well, here is at 65 now to 4 innings plus. So they'll get the big guy Elvis Araujo up in the Phillies bullpen. Now the Phillies going to play their infield here. In a second, time being called by Galvis, and they're going to kill some more time for the bullpen now and send Bob McClure, the pitching coach, out to the mound.
Well, they want to get their pitcher, the left-hander, ready for Duda. So they have to make sure that this is the last batter Gonzalez faces.
So they're in full stall mode right now.
Well, that's the key for any manager, isn't it? The ability to see forward in time almost and to anticipate what's going to happen. And you didn't want this young man to face Duda at any time more in this ballgame.
Well, they'll talk as long as they can until the home plate umpire Larry Vanover arrives.
It's the longest meeting ever.
And they still won't leave. Come on, Larry, move it along. They're your city probables for the remainder of the series. Jacob deGrom coming off an extraordinary after his last time out against Jerome Williams. Noah Syndergaard Wednesday afternoon against Sean O'Sullivan. Somebody retired 23 in a row the other day after deGrom did it. There's Lagares with 2 on and nobody out. I mean, that's a rarely accomplished feat. It only happened a handful of times in Mets history. I think it was the 4th, 2 for Seaver, Anthony Young, and then deGrom, but somebody else did it the other day. Future's so bright, got to wear shades and an umbrella. Here's the 1-0. And now it's 2-0 to Lagares, so Severino Gonzalez digging his hole a little bit deeper here. Mets have already hit a couple of home runs today. Duda in the 3rd, Kadire in the 4th. Duda waiting on deck. Great spot for Lagares here. That's his home run cut. 2-1. Beautiful day, nice crowd. Memorial Day afternoon, the unofficial start of summer, and the unofficial biggest traffic jam of the year tonight. 2-1 to Lagares, and the curveball hit in the air to center. Herrera going back. Colon tagging at second, and he's going to take the extra base. Nicely done by Colon. Colon took it seriously after he failed to tag up in his last start. He knew exactly what to do this time.
Well, a good read here by Colon. The issue here is not Bartolo, who made a nice play tagging up, but Curtis Granderson. If he had read the throw, he could have easily gone to second base. Why? The throw was so far offline, there was no one covering second base. Watch Curtis. He reads it, okay? He wants to go, but he didn't read the throw, and he stops, and there was no one around second base.
That's going to be all for Severino Gonzalez. He's going to come out of the game after 4 1/3. And the Phillies will bring in the left-hander Araujo to face Lucas Duda with the go-ahead run at third base. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. 3-3 game in the 5th. We'll be right back to Citi Field. League appearance.
Well, let's see the numbers so far. It's all about getting the left-handers out for Araujo.
Meanwhile, the Phillies are playing the shift on Duda, as you'd expect, and the shortstop Galvis is about 70 feet away from third base. They're almost daring Bartolo Colon to steal home. What do you think, Bartolo? Duda homered his last time up, and the breaking ball in for a strike.
Do you know what's strange? I don't think I've ever said this. I don't want Colon to get off third base. I want him to get off about 5 feet, because if he gets off too far, it's too far for him to go back and tag and still generate enough speed to score. Just stay hover near that bag. Base hit, of course you'll score. Sac fly, tag up. That's the pitch that has made Lucas so good against the left-hander so far this year, laying off that tough slider.
Daniel Murphy on deck. Well, Duda was drilled by a pitch in the first inning, responded with a long home run in the third. Colon at third, Granderson at first with 1 out. And there's a fastball from Araujo that misses, 2-1. Araujo has given up 8 hits and 3 walks in 5 2/3 innings, so he has been less than effective in his brief major league career.
It's this Phillies pitching staff. They give up tons of hits, tons of walks.
The most hits and the most walks in the National League, the Phillies staff. Right back to the mound. They get a chance for 2. Galvis makes the relay in time for the double play. 1-6-3, and that gets the Phillies through the bottom of the 5th. Trip around the bases for Colon, not quite complete. Well, Bartolo Colon goes back to the mound after an almost complete trip around the bases. And remember, in his last start after he ran the bases, he had a dreadful inning when he went back to the mound.
Well, luckily 6, 7, 8 here maybe will help getting through this inning.
Grady Sizemore has walked and lined out to right 0 for 1. Each team with 3 runs and 6 hits as we start the 6th. And Sizemore takes up an in for ball 1. Grady Sizemore, 3-time All-Star, but the last time was 7 years ago. His body has betrayed him since, and now just trying to hang on to a big league career. 1-1 to Sizemore.
Said the last time the Mets played the Phillies, I mean, he was Mike Trout before there was a Mike Trout.
Speed, defense, power. Hit 38 home runs one year for the Indians. His last All-Star season was at age 25, so it gives you an idea how good he was and how early. 1-2 to Sizemore. So Dubal Herrera on deck, and then Carlos Ruiz for the Phillies in the 6th. Phillies have been playing well. They've won 8 of their last 12, despite dropping their last 2 to the Nats the last 2 days. And Sizemore goes down on strikes. That's 5 for Colon. First down in the 6th.
Well, good up and away fastball by Bartolo. No ill effects from running the bases. Good fastball.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Herrera, who's been up twice and hit the ball to right field both times. First time he sent Granderson a step from the wall with a long drive to right. Herrera's hit only 1 major league home run. He's the Rule 5 draft pick from Texas who had been an infielder throughout his career, just learning to play the outfield. And it's there have been some growing pains for Herrera.
Well, there have, but you know, he's holding his own offensively. It's usually the place where they struggle, especially when they change positions.
Jomar Gomez, veteran sinker baller, up in the Philly bullpen. Pitcher due up 4th in this inning. Colon pitching determinedly here in the 6th inning. Maybe throwing the ball harder than he has all day. The last one was what, 93?
I think he, I think he knows what happened in his last game after a trip around the bases. He had a tough inning. Doesn't want that to repeat itself.
Well, he's a little older and wiser now. He's 42 now.
42. That's amazing.
The other thing to note on Colon is that, yesterday was his birthday, and there aren't too many 42-year-olds who play these days, as Herrera hits one out to center and Lagares eases back with some dust being kicked up off the warning track, and there's 2 out. But also, Bartolo's mom passed away last year from breast cancer at age 63, and today would have been her 64th birthday. So this is an extraordinarily important day for Bartolo.
And his next start will probably be what? Well, the off day would be on Sunday, maybe?
Right.
And that will be Mother's Day in the Dominican.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So there you go. That'll be against the Marlins on Sunday. Here's Ruiz, who's hit 2 line drives, 2 outs. 1 to center, 1 to short. Andres Blanco has come out on deck. He'll pinch hit if Ruiz can keep the inning going. Carlos Ruiz, now 36 years old, part of the aging core of the Phillies.
He didn't start his career much like Ryan Howard till a little later.
Howard, of course, was blocked by Jim Thome, which is why he wound up spending more time in the minors. In Chooch's case, he wasn't really considered a prospect. He was lightly regarded. They didn't think he was going to hit a whole lot, and he turned out to be a cornerstone player for the Phillies on their championship team.
And on those championship teams, when they had that real good pitching, Holiday and the like, played a big part in calling those games.
And a great clutch hitter to boot. 0-2 coming. It's fouled away.
Interesting. Colon going really with 4 seam fastballs here. Every pitch over 90.
Pitching angry. 92 pitches now for Cologne. He lasted just 86 his last start before he got knocked out in the 5th inning. Justin DeFreitas on the right. Joins Jean-Marc Gomez in the Phillies bullpen.
Probably asking, why would you have two right-handers up? Well, if the tie game, one of the right-handers will come up. If the Phillies somehow take a lead here, the other right-hander will come in.
Strike 3 call. Strikeout number 6 for Bartolo as he retires the Phillies 1-2-3 in the top of the 6th. 3-3 on Memorial Day. For Mets information with a constant flow of Mets news and opinion featuring game breakdowns, special features, and player profiles. Mets blog presented by Citi, part of the SNY.TV blog network. We also get our post-game web hits. You wouldn't want to miss those. Watch Keith fidget while we're talking.
He fidgets and gives the peace sign, which I find interesting.
Daniel Murphy leads off in the home 6th against Elvis Araujo. Came in to get a key double play to keep this game tied in the 5th. Murphy takes the strikes. Severino Gonzalez went 4 1/3, allowed 3 runs, 6 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts, a career high, a hit batsman, and 2 home runs. No decision game for him. Kadire on deck, Flores to follow. And Murphy bangs one up the middle for his 2nd hit of the day. Seems like he's getting 2 every day. 10 hits in his last 16 at bats.
Well, it seems like he gets 2 every day because he has a great ability to wait on that breaking ball. Sits, waits for it to get to the middle of the plate, and just goes right back up the middle with it. Doesn't try to do too much. Blistered up the middle.
So the Mets have the go-ahead run aboard, and Ryan Sandberg's on his way out. You saw he had the 2 right-handers up in the bullpen, and likely ready to bring one of them in now with Kadire and Flores, the 2 right-handers coming up. Justin DeFreitas making his way in. 3-3 game in the 6th. We'll be right back to Citi Field.
Well, he was in the minor leagues for 209 games there for a long time, but now has entrenched himself in that Philly bullpen.
Comes in to face Michael Kadire, who had a long home run his last time up into the second deck in left center. Kadire had gone 74 at bats without a home run, and he just crushed one against Severino Gonzalez. Murphy at first and nobody out. And Kadire jumps back 2-0.
Every once in a while, Kadire front-footed. I mean, he'd get out front, and boy, he knew right away that ball was a bomb. And like we said, second deck, very rarely see that.
Now Kadire with a 2-0 advantage. And 3-0. So DeFreitas comes in and immediately makes his life more difficult. Wilmer Flores waiting on deck. Alex Torres, first man up in the Mets bullpen today. And well outside for ball 4. So DeFreitas not coming close on that 3-0 slider, pitching like he wanted no part of Kadire.
I don't think I've ever seen that choice of pitches. A 3-0 slider to a veteran hitter. I mean, fear factor.
First walk issued today by the Phillies pitching staff. You know, we started talking about this earlier. The Phillies staff has issued the most hits and the most walks of any staff in the league, and yet their staff ERA is right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah,
8th in the league.
Houdini staff.
I guess you'd figure, especially in that ballpark where the home runs generally fly, that the most walks would put you in a lot of trouble. But it's been only middling trouble. Here's Flores, and Wilmer takes inside, 5 in a row out of the strike zone from DeFreitas, who came in having walked 9 batters in 22 2/3. So about 3.5 per 9 innings.
Some people probably asking, you know, maybe bunt Flores here. You can't bunt him. You don't have enough bats in the lineup. Muno just up from AAA. Flores is swinging. And
not even close again from DeFreitas. I don't think we've seen him struggle with the control like this. We'll get a visit from Bob McClure.
I'm saying he's been in 112 games the last 2 seasons. He's been one of the strong candidates out there in that bullpen the last couple of years for Bob McClure.
Well, nobody's throwing behind him, so it's on DeFreitas to find himself. I was thinking, Ronnie, the way the offense has been going for the Mets, if you wanted to bunt with Flores, 2 bunts maybe can get you a run.
That's right. No bunts. Flores has got a hit.
New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Citi. Citi is calling up a local restaurant to be featured at Citi Field this season. Vote for a favorite now at Mets.com/Citi call-ups. Well, the Mets with their opportunity here in the 6th inning, due in part to the wildness of Justin DeFreitas. Do you sit dead red here and think about hitting the ball out of the ballpark? Every time that pitching coach visits, you figure you're going to get something hard in the middle of the plate. And Wilmer takes it right down the middle, 2-1.
Well, as a hitter, Gary, you're probably figuring you're going to get that pitch twice in a row. But now that he's back to 2-1, DeFreitas can try to move that ball towards the corner.
Murphy at second, Kadire at first, nobody out. Tie game, 6th inning. And that one just missed. And now it's 3-1 to Flores.
Larry Vanover was calling everything for a strike early in the game, and now it has closed. Closed sign is up.
How does that happen?
I don't get it. Ruiz was all over him in between those 2 pitches. Remember, Ruiz took a pitch for strike 3.
It's like an in-game devolution. 3-1 from DeFreitas.
Hit in the air to deep left field. Back goes Rivera to the warning track.
Back at the wall, leaping, it's out of here! Wilmer Flores, a 3-run homer. Just had enough. 7th of the year for Flores, the Mets' 3rd home run of the day, and it's 6-3 New York.
Well, throughout his defensive travails, Wilmer Flores has kept his confidence at the plate. And what is it about Phillies right-handed relievers when Flores comes up to the plate? A grand slam off Philippe Aumont last year, and here he gets to Freitas.
No, you keep falling behind like DeFreitas. Eventually, somebody's going to hit one a long way, and Flores did. Uno is 0 for 2, and changeup misses to 1-1. Oh, base hit by Murphy off Araujo, who gives up the go-ahead run. He's now on the hook in this game. A walk by DeFreitas, and Flores a 3-run homer. Now 2-1 to Muno. So the Mets have scored 4 runs in a 3-game series in Pittsburgh, have put up 6 today. What a difference a venue makes. The bloop on the right side, and Howard comes in to grab it, 1 away. Mets are 17-6 at home and going for 18-6 today. Jean-Marc Gomez back up in the Phillies bullpen. 3 home runs today by the Mets, ties their season high. 4th time they've done it this year. Here's Recker, who's been up twice and struck out both times. Probably the most important home run the Mets hit today was Kadire, because he has got to get going. We saw in spring training what he's capable of power-wise. The Mets had every reason to think he would have more than 4 home runs at this juncture of the season.
Listen, he's one of those guys that, you know, really it concerns himself with being a good teammate, getting things done. I'm sure it weighs on you with David being out. He wants to try to bite off more than he can probably chew. Just take care of his deal. That'll be enough. The biggest pitch in that, I think, that whole inning was DeFreitas throwing the 3-0 slider to Kadire. Brought Flores up.
Now he's behind 2-0 on Recker. John Mayberry is out on deck to bat for Bartolo Colon. Colon has thrown 95 pitches through 6 innings. Hasn't thrown more than 97 in the game this year, so Alex Torres is getting ready. And that's a ball. 3-1. So Bartolo now back in front. 3rd time today the Mets have given him the lead, and looks like his work is done for the afternoon. And that's ball 4. So DeFreitas continues to toss gasoline on the fire. His 2nd walk of the inning.
Gary, you mentioned before they lead in giving up the most hits, the most walks. That whip at some point will kill you during the season. Can't continue down that path. Here comes Rhino again, double switching.
So he'll go to his 3rd pitcher of the inning. Araujo gave up a base hit. DeFreitas faces 4 batters, walks 2 and gives up a home run. And now Jean-Marc Gomez, the next on the slate. 6-3 in the 6th. We'll be right back. Today's State Farm agent of the game is John Garfinkel of Brooklyn. Contact John at johngarfinkel.com. By Cayman Islands, a world away, just 4 hours from JFK. And by Optimum, presenting Mets games in crystal clear HD. Today's starters brought to you by People's United Bank. Neither one was overwhelming, but Bartolo Colon has the advantage. Out of the game now after 6 innings and in line for his 7th win of the year. Jeff Francoeur comes in on a double switch. Frenchie will hit 9th, and the new pitcher Jean-Marc Gomez will hit 6th.
Well, it's interesting. He wasn't brought in earlier because the Freitas usually pitches with guys on base. Gomez is their long man. See his numbers so far this year.
Sinker baller in a double play situation to face John Mayberry pinch hitting. It's good to hear the music just continue on and on. Maybe we could just play Meet the Mets for the rest of the afternoon.
We were in the 3rd stanza. I don't know the words to that one.
I mean, we've got the call to the post. We've got Meet the Mets. We can just have an all musical format. You and I can take the rest of the day off.
Okay.
Mayberry hitting at 156. Played left field yesterday. Went 1 for 4. He had the double down the left field line in the 2nd inning that gave the Mets 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. After which Liriano then struck out 3 in a row. And that was pretty much the tone for the weekend. Recker at first and 1 out. 3 runs home in the inning on the Flores home run. And I think that's way too much attention to pay to Anthony Recker.
Obviously, the scouting report on Recker never made it to the file.
Mayberry, the former Philly, trying to do some damage against his old team. Well, you would have later in your career gotten to face the Texas Rangers who drafted you.
Yes, I did.
Special feelings at all?
No, because it had been too long, 10 or 11 years, so I wasn't feeling it. The only thing was Bobby Valentine was the manager of that ball club, right. So I knew Bobby.
Of course, Mayberry was also a Texas Rangers draft pick.
I was thinking if I hadn't been traded to the Mets, I probably would have pitched for Bobby V in Texas at some point.
Because he was the 3rd base coach when he were with the Mets. Mayberry, 1st round pick by the Rangers in 05, but never played for them. There goes Recker. Maybe they knew something. And Recker steals the base. How about that? They want to throw over? Okay, I'll steal the base. For Anthony Recker, his 2nd career Major League stolen base.
Well, never thought he'd go when he runs on Ruiz, who makes a strong throw, but had such a big jump. They must have a time on Gomez. Just takes too long to deliver the ball to the plate. And Utley usually gets in front of runners coming to second base. Not with Recker. Sidesteps them. It's like a refrigerator coming down on.
So Recker now has doubled his career stolen base total. He's in scoring position with 1 out. 1 and 2 count on Mayberry with Curtis Granderson on deck. Fouled straight down. I guess Anthony's either gotten faster or craftier later in his career. His first stolen base came last year. He's going for multiples this year. He's already got 1 out of the way. For the Mets, that's only their 16th stolen base of the season. It's been a while since the Mets had stolen a base, hasn't it?
It's just not part of their game.
No, it's not a whole lot of team speed. One-two from Gomez to Mayberry. And Ruiz down to block it. 2-2.
One of the best in the business, Ruiz. Even at 36 years old, he's just like a pillow back there. Smothers the baseball so it has no chance for a rebound in our hockey postseason. time of the year.
Lundquistian.
Yes, very good.
Pigeons are back. Standing right in front of the shortstop. 2-2 coming. And Mayberry stays alive, fouling off that sinker. There's got to be a statue somewhere waiting for you. Of course, they have all those statues in Pittsburgh.
That's right. That's right.
Maybe they flew home with the Mets. They're looking for statues. Last stolen base for the Mets before Recker was 8 days ago. Lagares against the Brewers. 2-2 from Gomez, and Mayberry checks his swing, and Gomez thought he might have strike 3, but does not get the call, and it's 3-2. Good at bat here for John.
Little sinker in, just runs off the plate. Good take.
Granderson waiting. Mayberry set to see its 8th pitch from Jean-Marc Gomez. Slowly hit. Franco charging. He has a good arm, and he throws out Mayberry for the second out as Recker stays at second.
Well, it's our first time seeing Franco's arm, and you're right, Gary, just outstanding. Made that play look easy. The charge, short hop, sets himself, and a bullet.
So 2 out. Recker still at second, and now Curtis Granderson, who's 2 for 3 today, singled twice and scored a run. Mets with 6 runs and 8 hits. The Phillies 3 runs and 6 hits.
There's a shift on the right side. Galvi's staying at home, though, at third base. It's Franco who makes the move.
See, it's interesting. This is one of those situations where unless you really thought Granderson was going to hit it to third, move him over to short. He's not going to bunt with 2 out and a runner at second.
I agree. If he does, you have the right-hander against the right-hander.
Spins him out of the way, and it's 1-1.
Boy, almost catches his jersey. You know, if you're thinking that Galvis is there to stop Recker from stealing third, who cares if he steals third with 2 outs?
And you know what? He could play 20 feet further to his left and still beat Recker to the bat.
Sure.
Another one inside. That one catches the corner, and it's 1-2.
That was a good pitch by Gomez.
Jean-Marc Gomez pitched last year in Pittsburgh, 44 appearances. Had the worst year of his career so far. And the Pirates let him walk away. He signed with the Phillies. Granderson lifts one to right center. Herrera over in the gap, and that retires the side. But the Mets score 3 in the 6th on Wilmer Flores' 3-run homer. Mets have hit 3 home runs today, and they lead it 6-3 after 6. Right now, let's send it over to our public address announcer at Citi Field, Alex Anthony.
Ladies and gentlemen, on this Memorial Day, Major League Baseball and the New York Mets are proud to once again participate in the National Moment of Remembrance as we pause to remember the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice in service of our country. We ask that you please rise, remove your caps, and join us now in this moment of silence as a collective, unified expression of gratitude to the heroes who lost their lives while protecting the freedoms we enjoy today. Thank you.
And on this Memorial Day, USAA honors those who gave everything in their service to our country. The first 6. Now Alex Torres will pitch the 7th.
Well, the bullpen's numbers in May, despite some walks, has been very good, just a shade over 2. Torres tries to continue that here in the 7th inning.
Worked a 1-2-3 inning against the Pirates in Saturday's game. He'll face Jeff Francoeur, who's up for the first time. Frenchie's been hot. He's got his batting average up to 242 for the year. Francoeur, then Revere and Galvis, 9-1-2 in the Phillies batting order. Francoeur came in a double switch in the last inning. Francoeur and Sizemore have been splitting playing time in right field, and of late, Francoeur has had much the better of it. First time the Phillies came here this year, they were here for the home opener. Frenchie came up to the batting cage, looked at the new shorter fences, and said, if those fences had been there when I played here, I'd still be here.
That's funny.
There's the changeup by Torres, and it's 2-1. Francoeur the last 16 games hitting .382 with 9 RBIs, so he has really been swinging the bat well lately. Issue, as always, with Francoeur is maybe laying off a pitch or 2 out of the strike zone. And he almost falls over with that swing. He never gets cheated, does he?
He doesn't, but you know, this is really the situation where you have to get on base. The 2-0 pitch was questionable that he swung at. That was a strike there, though. Torres threw it by him.
But the ferocity of the swing.
He's going up there for one reason, Gary. It's not a blue pit. Frenchie only knows one way to play.
I mean, his entire Mets career, he would talk about being more patient, altering his game, and it would work for about a week. And then right back to swing as hard as you can at whatever you can.
He just has that DNA, you know. I mean, you're right. Full bore all the time.
And he pops one up. Murphy calling for it. Called off by Flores. 1 out.
Frenchie is a football player stuck in a baseball player's body. That's what the problem is.
I wonder what would have happened if he'd gone the other way. He was such a highly recruited football player coming out of high school in Atlanta.
I mean, kind of the perfect body for a quarterback, isn't he?
Or a DB.
Yeah, 6'3".
Good safety.
220. Yeah, he looks like he wouldn't mind hitting people.
So 1 out and nobody on now. Ben Revere. Revere 1 for 3, had an infield hit and scored a run in the third. Struck out his other 2 at bats against Cologne. Bartolo went 6 innings, allowed 3 runs, 6 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 94 pitches, and in line for his 7th win of the year. Yesterday, Michael Wacha beat the Royals, and Wacha got his 7th win. Of course, he's 7-0, 1.87. That's a different neighborhood. Grounded slowly. Duda ranging wide. Torres has to rush over and gets there in time. Nicely done by Torres. He really had to sprint to beat Ben Revere to the bag.
Well, the thing in Torres' favor is that he's very fast. So that helped him beat Torres, now beat Revere to the bag. The other thing you can do as a left-handed pitcher, if you feel like you're late and you're not going to get there in time, take that glove and slap it on the runner. You can slap it on him and not even tag the bag. But he had enough speed to beat him.
So Alex has retired the first 2. And now Freddie Galvis is 2 for 3 today. Had a bunt hit his last time up, after doubling back in the third. So Galvis, who had been struggling a bit coming into the series, 2 for 3 today. Now he turns round about right-handed, where he's been incredibly effective this year, hitting .447 as a right-hand batter. Got that stance where he's almost out of the box with that front foot. Yanked foul, and Pete McCannon does a nice dance to get out of the way.
Good old lay there by Pete. You know, it's interesting when you look at the lineup here as it shapes up for Torres. This might be an outing where he needs to get 5 outs for the Mets.
You got Utley and Howard next inning if he gets Galvis out here. Well, you never want to have a series like the Mets had in Pittsburgh, but I guess the one silver lining is they didn't use any of their frontline relief pitchers in that series. Jeurys Familia didn't pitch. Carlos Torres worked just 1 inning. Alex Torres just 1 inning. So it left Terry's prime relievers rested and ready to go.
Remember when everyone was asking if Jeurys Familia was getting too much work? Could he get some rest? Well, he's gotten plenty lately.
Well, it all depends for a closer,
right,
often on how your team's playing.
You never know when your chance is going to come.
Now, they want to get Familia in the game today anyway, even if there's not a save chance, so there's not too much rust on him. But when he's pitched recently on extra rest, he's looked pretty sharp. So. In the hole, Flores with a long throw to make, right on target to get Galvis, and a 1-2-3 inning for Alex Torres. So it's 7th inning stretch time here at Citi Field. Mets with a 6-3 lead, and let's go right back to public address announcer Alex Anthony.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to honor our nation this Memorial Day with the singing of God Bless America, please welcome Asia Goes, Deirdre Donovan, Melissa Van Pelt, and Colby Lewis of the USO Show Troupe.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairie, the prairie, to the ocean, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. My home, sweet home.
Ladies and gentlemen, the USO Show True.
Who got the final 2 outs in the 6th. That's with a 6-3 lead. Lagares 0 for 3. One has struck out, grounded out, and flied out today. The Mets 6 runs and 8 hits. The Phillies 3 runs and 6 hits. After the Mets scored just 4 runs in 3 games over the weekend in Pittsburgh. Duda to follow, then Murphy for the Mets in the 7th. And Lagares wraps one right at the shortstop. Galvis throws him out, 1 away. Let's send it to Steve Gelbs for today's view from the Pepsi porch. Steve?
Gary, one of the things we saw at PNC Park in the visiting clubhouse, all the video equipment is down there. So we as the media, when you're in their post game, get to see players really sitting there trying to dissect what went wrong during a pretty bad series, both offensively and obviously for the pitching staff. Terry Collins today, though, said, while that stuff can be a blessing, sometimes it's too much. Sometimes it gets in your head, and he wants guys, especially now, just go out there and do what got them to this level. Michael Kadire, he reiterated that and kind of followed up on it as well, saying sometimes when you focus too much on what's going wrong, it just continually gets worse.
Pressing is never a good thing.
I never watch our opens, Gary, because it just reiterates bad form.
I just like to watch the opens for Keith's facial expression. Duda pops one up. A long run for Galvis. So the pitcher, John Gomez, trying to get over there, but Galvis gets there for the out. 2 away. Well, Pepsi and the USO are welcoming 250 military personnel and Gold Star families who are in New York for Fleet Week. They're in the Pepsi porch today, part of today's Memorial Day game. So thanks to Pepsi and the USO for helping to remember and honor all those who have served.
Fleet Week is a very special week in New York City. It's crazy.
If you like action.
Yeah, right.
Daniel Murphy 2 for 3. Well, there was never a week like July 4th, 1976. The bicentennial.
The big ships.
The tall ships.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, there have been other parades of tall ships since, but nothing like that week. That was just, it was a signature week in the history of this city.
I remember I was in high school and we stopped that day to watch the news coverage because it was just something that you hadn't ever seen before.
Well, if we make it to 2076 for the tricentennial, perhaps we'll see it again. No, probably not real like.
Yeah. I know we're trying to be healthy on the road.
No, medical science, might have better answers for us. 2-2 to Murphy. Yeah, Murphy, a red hot hitter right now. It's only a matter of time for Murphy to find a groove like this, and he appears to be there right now. 10 hits in his last 16 at bats, using the whole ballpark. Did you see the way the Pirates shifted him?
Yeah.
And he just dribbled one to the left side and took his hit.
Yeah, Willie Keelered it, didn't he?
Pops this one up. And Galvis trailing out to call. Called off by Herrera, who comes in to grab it. Galvis would have had a lot easier play. But it's a 1-2-3 inning for Gomez in the bottom of the 7th. On we go to the 8th with the Mets up 6-3. Crushers, as they call them.
Lincecum's been pitching really well, too.
Yep. That's a great home run hitter's ballpark,
yes, it is.
Milwaukee. Well, Alex Torres worked a 1-2-3-7, stays on for the 8th with the big left-handed bats up. Chase Utley's had another good day, 2 for 3, 2 RBIs. Jake Diekman, the lefty, up in the Phillies bullpen. That's a Hansel Robles up in their bullpen. You got Utley and Howard, the 2 left-hand hitters, then the right-hand batter, Michael Franco. So Utley's resurgence has continued today. Ryan Howard's also had a good day with a hit and a sacrifice fly that had as much aloft as it did in distance. Well, maybe not 400 feet high, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's a strike from Torres, 1-2.
That's why you have to watch yourself when you start to count out hitters that have been great for a long, long time.
I remember a few years ago with David Ortiz.
That's right.
Everybody thought he was done. He got off to a bad first couple of months. His team may be done right now, but he's not. You know, the Mets have really struggled to score. This month they're averaging under 3 runs per game. But that's not the fewest runs in May. The Red Sox have actually scored fewer.
Yeah.
2.86 runs per game.
And only 2 points today.
And how about those Twins?
Every day.
7 games over 500. They're 15-6 in May. And they start out 1-6.
Under new manager Paul Mulder.
Not surprising. 2-2. And Utley lays off. Full count.
So the Mets are facing a team where the guy went into the Hall of Fame, then became a big league manager. Same with Mulder.
Well, the Twins yesterday passed by the Tigers in the standings. And now second behind Kansas City in that AL Central. And not doing it with a lot of big name talent. 3-2 from Torres. And he walked him. That's the last thing you want to do with a 3-run lead. So Utley's on base for the 3rd time today.
I just it's hard for me when I watch the pitch selection. You know, I never spend a lot of time up here thinking about pitch selection, but when you're up 3 runs, I don't care who's up there, 3-2, you got to challenge them. They can make an out somehow, some way, maybe pop up a pitch right down the middle. He went with the changeup 3-2.
Mets will move Danny Muno over to the right side of the infield, playing between Duda and Murphy. Howard today 1 for 2 and a sacrifice fly. And it's in the dirt. Rucker stops it 1-0. Well, we've said it often about Alex Torres. Getting lefties out, not his main function. Much more effective against right-handers with that changeup.
I think he has a hard time throwing strikes to lefties. He gets that feeling with that changeup against right-handed hitters, but doesn't get the release point against the lefties.
Grounded foul. Well, Jerry's Familia up early today.
Just starting to throw right now.
Well, you're not going to bring him in for 6 outs. Maybe 4, and at the outside 5. Now Torres ahead on Howard 1-2. Guess there will come a time in the season, if the Mets are in a pennant race, where Familia, if he continues at this rate, might be asked for 6 outs, but not this early in the season. I mean, Robles has become a very viable option. Carlos Torres has done a lot of the 8th inning work.
Well, that's the key, right? I mean, for the Mets starters, especially in the 6-man rotation, they somehow can get that ball through 7, even rarely into the 8th. It just changes everything for the Mets, because now you only have to get 2 or 3 outs instead of the 6 outs today.
Ken Giles up in the Philly bullpen, their 8th inning man. Alex Torres working hard on Ryan Howard. And misses with a breaking ball, 2-2. Well, it would certainly fortify the Mets bullpen if they can ever get Bobby Parnell and Vic Black back. They're both now at Double-A, and Parnell pitched last night, Black pitched today. and they're still trying to get that velocity up where they need to.
I mean, they're still below the 95 mark where they think they should belong.
Cornell coming back from Tommy John surgery and Black from neck problem. 2-2 coming, and Howard bounces one foul.
You know, it's not a real science. You know, you expect your pitchers to come back after Tommy John throwing as hard or even harder because you've seen it happen a lot.
Right.
But it doesn't mean it's going to be that way.
And also in Parnell's case, when did he have the surgery? April of last year. So he's only 13 months out. Unlike a guy like Harvey who started the season 17 months out. 7th pitch of the at bat coming to Ryan Howard. And he struck him out. Used the changeup, went away, gets Howard one out in the 8th.
Well, that's a good pitch here. A changeup away. The ball never came back over the plate, and Howard offered at it.
So there's a big out for Torres. That'll be the last pitch he throws. Alex goes an inning and a third. And will it be Robles or Familia that Terry Collins calls on? Mets with a 6-3 lead. Robles coming in.
His live arms so far, only a couple of walks in his 8 2/3 innings of work as he starts to get more and more, or put out there for more and more difficult outs.
He'll face fellow rookie Maikel Franco here in the 8th inning with Utley at first and 1 out. So a nice job by Alex Torres, retired 4 of his 5 batters. And now Robles against Franco, who's 0 for 3 today. Lucas Duda made a nice play at the railing to retire him his last time up with a couple of men on. Darren Ruff out on deck to pinch hit for the Phillies. And that one sails to the backstop, bounces all the way out to the pitcher as Utley takes second. Well, that's about as wild a pitch as you can throw on the first offering from Robles.
I mean, this is like pitchback, thrown up against the wall. Record doesn't get any leather on it, and Robles has to go and get the baseball.
There's shades of Len Barker throwing one on the screen at Fenway Park. Only wilder pitch was the one in Bull Durham.
That's right.
Well, not counting celebrity first pitches.
Well, we're not counting those.
So Utley in scoring position. 1-0 to Franco, who's 0 for 3 today. And he drills one to center field. Lagares moving over and makes the lunging catch. Utley will go to third, but Lagares with that great first step. Playing over toward left center, racing toward right center, and that's a big second out.
You know, Franco's hit some balls awfully hard today, and this is another one. But again, Lagares makes that play look easy. And you know, it's interesting, Gary, to me, is that usually when he makes his catch, he might get up and fire that ball to third base, but protecting that arm right now is something. Sees it's going to be caught by the Gold Glove center fielder and tags up.
He just covers so much real estate. So now 2 out of the inning, and it's going to be Cesar Hernandez to be the pinch hitter. So Hernandez batting for the pitcher in the number 6 hole with a runner at third and 2 out. Robles sailing his pitches early in his stint.
Almost seems like Robles is a little too pumped up here in this situation.
Hernandez, a switch hitter, hitting from his weaker side, batting .207 as a left-hand batter. And there's a strike from Robles. Better looking pitch, 1-1.
Robles reminds me so much of a former teammate, stalwart with the Dodgers and Braves, Alejandro Pena, in the way he throws. Ball just jumps on you.
But not as many adjectives in Robles' name yet.
I could add him later if he stays here for a while.
Popped up. Muno over for a look. But that's in the crowd. Oh, nice grab by the security guard. Jake Diekman ready to go in the Phillies bullpen. He'll pitch the bottom of the 8th. Meanwhile, Familia just watching in the Mets bullpen, hoping he won't be needed till the 9th. One-two from Robles. Struck him out. Nasty slider by Hansel Robles to take care of the pinch hitter Hernandez. That'll send us to the bottom of the 8th with the Mets up 6-3. Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. That was a great play by Duda. Geico Sports Night tonight at 10:30. Rangers, one loss from elimination again. Janae Coakley one-on-one with Snacks, and Memorial Day Baseball all coming up at 10:30 on Geico Sports Night right here on SNY. Jake Diekman will pitch the bottom of the 8th inning for the Phillies.
Well, see that high ERA. This is a talented young left-hander, but the walks are just out of control for Diekman.
And thus so is his ERA over 8. Michael Kadire hit a long home run into the second deck and left center in the 4th, his 4th of the year. He's also struck out and walked today. Kadire, Flores, and Muno for the Mets in the bottom of the 8th, with Familia getting ready for the 9th. And as was the case in his last at bat, nothing close to Kadire. Justin DeFreitas walked him on 4 pitches and threw a 3-0 slider about 3 feet out of the strike zone. I guess that was one scary home run.
It was. No one saw him go on the second deck, so they said, well, be very careful as Diekman goes 3-0 here.
Well, he threw him a fastball, but it missed. And so on 8 pitches, Kadire's walked twice in his last 2 plate appearances. I don't think that was the game plan.
See Larry Boa shaking his head. Ex-manager, when you see a pitcher come in and walk a batter on 4 pitches, your first thought is, what was he doing in the bullpen? Was he warming up? One of my favorites.
Well, after Kadire walked the last time, Wilmer Flores hit a 3-run homer, his 7th of the year, which, by the way, is the most of any shortstop in the major leagues. There's the list. I love it when we're in sync with our truck.
I didn't know Kozar was on that list. Quiet, 6 home runs.
You know, he's having a great year. Brandon Crawford is having a superb year. Always a terrific fielder.
Well, he's on pace for over 20 home runs and over 100 RBI.
Jerry's Familia getting ready for the 9th inning. Danny Muno waiting on deck. Diekman throws a changeup to first base. So remember how we were talking about Miller Park as a terrific home run hitter's ballpark? Ryan Braun just hit one 474 feet over the bleachers in left field.
Wow. We saw him hit a long one here.
He really has perked up over the last 3 weeks or so.
Get up, get up, get out of here, I guess, is at some point.
That's Bob Uecker's call. 2-2. It obviously didn't have to get up. It seems like it was already up. Braun with 12 home runs now. How about the poor Cincinnati Reds? I think Brian Price is ready to personally implode. Rockies just got a run on the top of the 9th to go in front 5-4 against Aroldis Chapman. Kadire runs. Flores strikes out. Kadire steals the base. But they're going to call interference on Flores, and so Kadire is called out. Flores interfering with the throw by Ruiz. And because he struck out, the runner gets called out as well.
Watch Flores as he swings at this pitch. His body falls right in the path of Ruiz trying to throw. Not like he tried to do it, but Ruiz had to throw over the top of him, and that's why Vanover made the call. It's a good call.
Well, that's the old double put out for Ruiz. He gets credit for the put out on the strikeout and also on the interference. So it goes to double play. Danny Muno with 2 out takes one of the dirt. Muno 0 for 3 today, struck out, grounded out, and popped up. His first ever start in the field in the major leagues. His first start was as a DH, which is not what you'd expect.
Against the Yankees, right?
The Phillies will have the lower third of the order coming up against Familia in the 9th. Herrera, Ruiz, and Francoeur. Anthony Recker would be next. Muno batting right-handed for the first time today, and he takes a fastball for a strike. thinking about the Mets not having many switch hitters. I think it was right at the end of your tenure as a Met. The Mets had something like 6 switch hitters in the lineup. Vince Coleman and Howard Johnson. Tommy Herr was there for a while. Todd Hundley. 3-2 to Muno.
In the 06 team, what do they have? Beltran was a switch hitter.
Right.
Is that it? They had someone else. Oh, Valentin.
That's a foul ball. Stay into the batter's box.
Reyes. I forgot Reyes.
Right, him. I remember him. He was supposed to come back for the Blue Jays today. Today was supposed to be his first day back from the rib injury. They played tonight against the White Sox. And they need him. The thing about the Blue Jays is they're 6 games under 500 in last place, but they're only 4.5 out.
Yeah, that AL East, unless it changes, Baltimore gets hot, and they won today, Baltimore. I mean, that looks like 85 wins might get you close.
8th pitch of the at-bat coming to Muno. And he lifts one to center field. Easy for Herrera. And that retires the side. So on we go to the 9th. Jerry's Familia on for the save opportunity with the Mets up 6-3. Field this Sunday when the Mets take on the Marlins at 1:10. The first 15,000 fans will receive Mets sunglasses courtesy of Verizon. After the game, all kids 12 and under can run the bases in the Mr. Met Dash. For tickets, visit Mets.com/Family Sundays.
Well, a big part of this great start by Familia in this season has been provided by the Phillies. 4 saves against the Phillies. His last save was against the Phillies on May 10th.
It's 15 days ago. Seems like a long time. Odubel Herrera leads off in the 9th inning. And he takes up and away for ball 1. Herrera 0 for 3. He's hit the ball in the air all 3 times. Sent Granderson right back in front of the fence in right field back in the 2nd. Familia trying to save it for Bartolo Colon. Would be Bartolo's 7th win of the year. Coming on the anniversary of his mother's birth. His mom had passed away last year. It would be awfully special for him. And Familia falls behind 2-0. Carlos Ruiz on deck. Jeff Francoeur to follow.
The 3-run deficit here. You have to, if you're Herrera, take a strike. You need base runners if you're the Phillies. Baseball 101. Not always adhered to anymore.
But sometimes those 400 level courses can be confusing.
Just getting to the right room sometimes.
Well, you have to wade through a lot of facts and figures. See the ball, hit the ball works well.
There you go.
That's 101. 2-1 coming. And it's up and away, so Familia is struggling a bit with his command, and it's 3-1. Nobody epitomized see the ball, hit the ball in my memory more than Mike Piazza.
Simplified it.
Just went up there, identified a pitch, and crushed it.
Yeah.
Familia behind his first hitter, 3-1. And there's a strike, 99 miles an hour.
Four-seamer. Yeah, Piazza to me, it was like aggressive swing with something he could handle.
And he'd go through, mild slumps where he swung at breaking balls, but most of the time knew exactly where he was.
I think you're underestimated, not you, but people underestimated how intelligent he was as a hitter too. Fooled twice.
3-2 coming. Smacked down to first. Easy play for Duda. 1 out. So Herrera is retired. And now Carlos Ruiz, who's gone 0 for 3 today. A couple of line outs and a strikeout. Colon went 6, allowed 3 runs, 6 hits. Alex Torres was impressive, an inning and a third, no runs, no hits. Hansel Robles faced 2, retired 2. And now Familia trying to finish it off with a save pending. Ball 1 to Ruiz. Well, we mentioned Michael Wacha has 7 wins. The only other 7-game winner in the majors is Felix Hernandez. And Colon would get to 7 with a win today. Jacob deGrom goes tomorrow, and I've been meaning to say this for 7 innings since I asked the question earlier. The other guy who retired 23 in a row this past week, Mike Bolsinger, for the Dodgers on Saturday against the Padres. Very much like deGrom, give up a hit in the first inning, then retired 23 in a row.
Bolsinger, who was kind of infamous for giving up that home run to Stanton that left the Dodger Stadium.
Well, I remember we saw Bolsinger in a Diamondbacks uniform. Was it last year or the year before? And he did not look like a finished product, but he's obviously done a terrific job for the Dodgers filling in. The back of the rotation for the Dodgers is a real problem. I mean, Bolsinger, they're hoping, can keep that going. Carlos Frias is the other guy they've been starting. He got knocked around in his last start last night.
Rio's not coming back this year.
Oh, he's out for the season now. That's why you wonder whether the Mets would be a good trading partner with the Dodgers if they wanted to deal a guy like Neese or G to fill that back end of the rotation. 2-2 coming, and Ruiz fouls it off. One thing about the Dodgers, is that their payroll is virtually unlimited.
It's a good thing to have, right?
Yeah. I mean, they've invested enough money that they expect to win. They'll probably do whatever is necessary to fill in where they have to. Familia working hard on Ruiz. 1 out and nobody on. He misses with the slider. 3-2.
As we've seen with the Dodgers, though, you kind of payroll yourself into the postseason, but doesn't ensure that you're going to win the prize.
Right. Well, they have to figure, even though it hasn't worked out this way, with Kershaw and Greinke at the top of their rotation, that they have a chance to beat anybody when they get to the postseason, if they get there. But, Kershaw has struggled in October.
Well, he struggled against Cardinals.
Against Matt Carpenter. Bounced down to third behind the bag. It's a foul ball.
Carpenter, Matt Adams got him for a 3-run home run last year. So the 2 left-handed hitters.
Shocking, right?
Right.
Long turn at bat for Ruiz. He's about to see his 8th pitch from Familia. Check swing. He takes a call, 3rd strike. Second time Ruiz has been punched out by Larry Vanover today, and that's the 2nd out.
That was a good pitch there. That's why there's no argument from Ruiz. Right on the corner. Perfect pitch. You can only shake your head. After all those sinkers down and in, he paints them on that outside corner.
So the Phillies are down to their final out. Jeff Francoeur up for the 2nd time after coming in a double switch. Popped up to short his first. Mets are trying to make it 17 wins in their last 22 meetings with the Phillies. That was a tough path for the Mets over the previous years. Quick pitch by Familia at 100 miles an hour is fouled off.
The Phillies are 0-9-1 in their last 10 road series. They have struggled.
Mets have had their own road struggles.
Yeah.
But the Mets on the verge of going 18-6 at home. Something I don't think we've ever said before at Citi Field. 1-2 to Francoeur.
Again, 100 miles an hour. Give this guy enough rest, he goes 3 digits on you.
Francoeur just gets a piece.
Interesting, no quick pitch yet from Familia. You usually see that at least once in his saves.
Francoeur strikes out, chased after by Recker. The long throw on a hop, safe. Duda was off the bag. Francoeur is safe, and the ball game continues unless the Mets challenge successfully. Duda looking into the dugout, and I think saying that he was on the bag, and maybe he was. First base umpire Ron Kopel with the call.
Great job by Duda getting fully extended. It's in the glove. I like that foot on the bag.
Well, it does not appear as though the Mets are going to challenge.
I'm very undecided on whether they're going to challenge today.
And now here comes Terry, and it appears he will.
I mean, it's worth challenging, right? Ball's in the glove.
Certainly got a shot. I mean, it's, 2 out in the 9th inning. There's nothing to save your challenge for.
And there's the foot coming off. I think he had the base, personally.
It's close.
But I just don't know if it's enough to reverse it.
Here's the issue.
Yeah.
The ball hits inside the glove, but not in the pocket, and then it rolls in. And in that period of time when it went from the side of the glove to the pocket, did his foot come off?
Yeah.
And does it matter?
Are they telling Terry Collins that he took too long, or?
That might be it. Pitcher was on the rubber, hitter was in the batter's box, so he might have run out of time. By the way, and let's see, they're going to have a consultation about whether to allow the challenge, apparently. Well, see, the ball is still on the side of the glove, but not all the way in the pocket of the glove. And then, is his foot still on? Maybe it is.
It's just hard to know whether they can change it. And they're going to say that it took too long.
Not going to challenge.
Yep.
Not going to allow the challenge. By the way, that is scored not a strikeout wild pitch, but a strikeout E2, saying that if Recker makes a better throw, he's out at first base.
I don't like the E2. He was falling backwards when he made the throw to try to get it there on time.
And it's a 130-foot throw. In any event, Francoeur at first, and now Revere the batter, and the Phillies need one more base runner to get the tying run to bat. Revere 1 for 4 on the day. Francoeur runs. They let him go on defensive indifference. Ball 1 to Revere.
The only thing I would say about that challenge, Gary, and I think you mentioned it, with 2 outs, I think it's a no-brainer for him. Just do it.
Got nothing to lose.
Yeah. I mean, forget about the protocol. Forget about hearing from anyone on the phone. Just go.
And Familia wants a conversation with Recker with a runner at second base.
Yeah, Frenchie stole second, so you have to go through a myriad of signs. Which sign is it? First, second, or third? Most pitchers use first or the second sign.
Familia's had some trouble with Revere, who's 3 for 9 against him. One-0 to Revere. That's a strike.
And he's got that 98-mile-an-hour sinking fastball today, Gary. Just nasty.
Almost unfair.
Yep.
Freddie Galvis on deck if Revere can keep it going. 1-1.
Line caught. Ball game over. Familia picks up the save. Bartolo Colon ties for the major league lead with his 7th win on his late mom's birthday. And the Mets, after a dreadful weekend in Pittsburgh, come home with a W as they beat the Phillies 6-3.
Well, 18-6 now at home, and it was the home run ball. Lucas Duda hit in his first at bat, responds with a home run. Michael Kadire, long time in between home runs, but the big blow was Wilmer Flores with a 3-run bomb.
Here's your game summary. Well, the Mets had gone 28 straight 9-inning games under 3 hours. That was snapped today. Didn't want to mention it until it was snapped, by the way. 3 home runs. Colon gets his 7th win, and the Mets beat the Phillies 6-3. For every Mets win, the Mets Foundation is proud to contribute $2,500 to the Cats Women's Hospital and the Cats Institute for Women's Health. For more information, visit northshorelij.com/KIWH. This win brings the total contribution so far this season to $62,500. Mets win at 6-3. Let's go downstairs to Steve Gelb. Steve?
Thanks, Gary. Here with Wilmer Flores, whose 6th inning home run in this game was the difference. Wilmer, after the weekend you guys had in Pittsburgh, how necessary was it for you to bounce back today?
Well, we had a rough road games, and we come home and we're playing well.
What is it about Citi Field this year? Now 18-6 at home.
We feel good at home. I mean, our fans are great, and we play good here.
That 6th inning home run that you had, DeFreitas clearly didn't have command, walked Kadire on 4 pitches, fell behind to you. In that situation, are you thinking even more so than normal, I have to make sure he throws me my pitch?
Well, I wasn't handing the count, and I was just trying to get something up and get a ball in the gap.
11 of the last 12 games you have a hit. How good are you feeling at the plate?
Feel pretty good.
Wilmer, thanks so much. Congrats.
You're welcome.
Gary?
Thanks, Steve, and thanks, Wilmer. Mets win 6-3. Just their 2nd win in their last 7 games as they beat the Phillies for the 6th time in 7 tries this year. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New York Mets. By Empire City Casino, Manhattan's closest casino. Your luck starts here. By Geico, over 75 years of savings and service. And by Long Island Railroad's Train to the Game, your ticket to the Mets. Final score this afternoon, the Mets 6 and the Phillies 3. Tomorrow night, game 2 of this series, Jacob deGrom against Jerome Williams. Our coverage begins tomorrow night at 6 o'clock right here on SNY. Now for Ron Darling and Steve Gelb, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. Time for WB Mason post-game live. Let's join Gary Apple and Nelson Figueroa in the studio. Take it away, guys.